So Jesus is speaking in parables again and taking examples from everyday life and agriculture as the people could understand. And as I mentioned in my homily last week, the use of symbols and poetry and suggestive language is actually more communicative of truth, at least especially religious truth or spiritual truth, than some dry concepts or dogmatic formulations. In any case, we can learn a lot about what the kingdom is, how it works, from the readings today, from the parables today. The kingdom as something that's universal, but something also that is in our own hearts. So the first thing is, because it is the presence of Christ, like that shoot taken from the top of the tree in the first reading there from Ezekiel, it's got its own power. It's got its own dynamism, its own logic. It grows of itself. Did you notice that? We don't know how. We can't control it, and as soon as we start trying to control the kingdom, we make a huge botch of it. No, we have to be attentive to how the Lord is working, how it's meant to grow of itself. As it says in the gospel, the farmer knows not how, and we don't know how. The Spirit blows where it will, and you can't control it where it goes, even if you hear it. And the word in Greek is actually very expressive. Of its own accord is the translation. The word in Greek is actually automati. Automatically. Automatically the seed grows of its own accord, of itself. So get out of the way. Try to be attentive to how the Lord, how the kingdom is growing in you, how you are growing. And it may surprise you. I mean, who can predict the blade in the ear and the full grain in the ear? Who's in control of that? Who can predict that? You will be your own special growth, so to speak, your own special planting of the Lord. So the first thing is to realize it has its own dynamism, and we have to at least get out of the way. The Gospel Acclamation quotes that parable of the other parable of Jesus, speaks about the sower and the seed and how we can block or choke the seed's growth. It grows of its own. Maybe we can't promote it too much. We can certainly mess it up. If we are really attentive, however, we can further that growth by being attentive and tend to get seeing how it's growing, how it's meant to grow in us, and promoting that or fostering that or furthering that. So that's the first thing, and maybe the most important thing. And that's true on the universal level too, not just on our own hearts. How do we know how God is spreading the kingdom today? Get out of the way with all your preconceptions and all your concepts. The Spirit will surprise us. The kingdom is meant to grow in ways we can't control or understand. Get used to it. Embrace it. The second thing is that it grows slowly, and it matures. And so that's the other thing. We can't control that. It will be a growth that is slow. God is patient. Look at how many billions of years. And so he'll be patient. We should be patient with how it grows in us, manifesting slowly in different phases of our lives as we grow, as it grows. I like the image of the palm tree in the psalm today, in Psalm 91, where it speaks of the palm and the cedar, and the just person is like those plants. I love the palm tree because, as I'm sure you've noticed, it sheds the lower leaves gradually as it goes higher, and it's just the topmost branches that form like a cap on it, and it loses the lower branches the higher it goes. So that's going to happen with us too. We've got to let go of the former things that might have served their purpose. They were the leaves at the time, but we're meant to let go of them. We can't grasp or hold on to things that are meant to be passing, and our life is passing. And as we mature, which is growth, some of the lower branches, we've got to let go of them. Some of what we thought was who we were, or what we thought was the right thing, to allow new growth, the topmost growth, the most elegant and mature growth to manifest. So it will be slow, but it will be powerful. And the other thing is, as with all growth, it's hidden. It's quiet. You don't hear the seeds growing, do you? Or the plants growing? Or the baby in the womb? Silent, but irresistible. So we have to be really quiet to hear the inspirations of the Spirit, because it grows quietly and silently, like the seed falling into the earth and dying to bear much fruit, as Jesus himself says about himself and therefore about us. So that's how it will manifest, quietly and silently. It's humble, in other words. Do you ever notice how humble God is? God is not up there beating a drum and making thunderclaps, I'm God. We might do that, but the real God doesn't. So some commentators have pointed out that image of the palm tree or the cedar, the big strong cedar from Ezekiel there, Jesus, quotes that when he quotes about the birds coming and making nests in the branches. But he doesn't talk about a palm tree or a cedar. He talks about a garden plant, mustard seed. A big bush, I guess, but it's not an imposing, cedar. And that's how we can easily miss the kingdom, because the kingdom is right in front of you, right within you. Not big fireworks, not empires. Empires never communicate God. So we have to expect it to be humble. Just a little plant is already the maturing of the kingdom. And, if in the end it grows of itself, as I say, so in the end the best thing, in a sense, is that it's irresistible. It's going to happen. Human beings can try to thwart it, as we do so often, consciously and unconsciously, willingly and unwillingly. But in the end, it's going to be victorious, because it's God working in the world. And God knows the ins and outs of our human nature. He can work around us if need be, like the branches of the tree that spread out, wherever there's space. And it will be victorious in the sense that it will be all of us. It'll be the whole universe. And here we come back to the beautiful image, the communal image of the vine and the branches. Jesus himself says, I'm the vine and you are the branches. You're all the branches and you're all interconnected. Let's not forget that. So if the kingdom's going to be real and victorious, we have to realize we're all interconnected on the vine and nobody's independent. And if we get cut off from the vine and from each other, we just dry up. So we're responsible for one another. That's the kingdom. It's universal kingdom. And it will be victorious. That's also the promise of the second reading, when it says, we will return to the Lord. It will reach its final consummation in the kingdom of God, in the beyond. Continuation of now, but the fullness in the beyond. And I'm always intrigued by the language Paul uses. He says, we're now at home in the body, but away from the Lord. And we would rather be away from the body and at home with the Lord. So which is it? Where are we at home and where are we away? In the body or with the Lord? Well, both. We're at home in the body in a sense, but we're away from the Lord ultimately, and in the end we're at home with the Lord, and, away from the body as we know now, but the fullness of the resurrected body will be the full blossoming of the vine and the trees and the whole kingdom of God. So it's an organic, beautiful, powerful, delicate, humble, gorgeous plan of God that's at work. Just as in our nature, to bring about the kingdom of God in the whole world. And in the end, the whole world, the whole universe, will indeed be the kingdom of God.